Alright everyone, and welcome back. I'm Christina, aka ThatVarietyNerd, and today we are actually doing a couple different videos this weekend. We are back to the tier list. This was definitely a very much requested thing to sort of continue on the channel, and so that's what we're going to do. We're not just going to do wrestling exclusive tier lists. If that's what you want to see, great, let me know in the comments down below. But we're just going to be jumping around a little bit because we like variety on this channel, hence the brand. None other than WWE Video Games. And as you can see, sort of at the bottom, there are all kinds of different games. So the kind of rationale I'm going to go through is kind of going in order, seeing which ones I remember. There are a couple in here that I don't think I played or at least played extensively to really like make a comment on, and so those might be more the middle of the road type of games. So that's kind of my thought process right there. But without further ado, let's get this party started, shall we? I think so. Alright, so we're going to start out with WWE 2K18, which not sure why that's the first one on the list. So 2K18 was weird. That was the year that they did a whole graphics overhaul, which was really cool, from 2K17 to 2K18. There were a lot of upgrades in the graphics. They tried to improve my career in universe mode. The universe mode improvements were okay, but my career was just broken. Like the gameplay was good. If you were more into online, then like that was kind of the year for you. The DLC was okay if I remember correctly. I didn't start getting the DLC until 2K19 because poor college student life at the time. So, 2K18 for me personally just kind of sucked because my career was like broken for me. Like, I might try to go back in and try it again, but if you're going to be advertising and promoting your my career and it's just broken, then like just go in and fix it. Like, play test your game, which we would see in a couple more years. So, 2K18, minus the cover, minus the soundtrack, and maybe the fine tuning to the graphics in universe mode. That's why it is going right about, well, the fine tuning to universe mode was okay, but even then, I barely remember playing it other than like maybe universe mode or a quick match here and there. So, yeah, because there was no like set mode other than just sandbox mode, we'll just put it in F because you know what? Again, my humble opinions. So let's see here. Day of Reckoning we'll get back to. No Mercy we're going to put up at S, which is the best because otherwise people are going to throw things at me. Day of Reckoning we'll get back to in just a moment because especially with the GameCube games, I remember playing them like very vaguely. So like I'll have to do some research and get back to the ones again that I'm like, what just happened here? And so kind of what I'm ranking on is like, the features, the context, how important is the game. So for example, I never got a chance to play No Mercy. However, I know that y'all would be like throwing things at me if you could, if I didn't put that at the top tier because of the historical significance to that game as it relates to wrestling video game culture. So there's that. SVR 2000, no, yeah, the OG SVR game, SmackDown vs. Raw game. This one's interesting. So, SmackDown vs. Raw, that series, I believe, began in 2004, which was actually right around the time that I started watching wrestling. At that time, it was around 2004, 2005. So, this one I would play later on, but I genuinely enjoyed it. The career mode was a lot of fun. Definitely a big step down from Here Comes the Pain in a lot of ways. So honestly, outside of career mode and maybe a couple of different just weird things in the game in general, it was okay. At least it played all right. We'll put this at C because it's kind of like if it plays all right but not like super memorable, then like that's where I feel like it should go. I don't think I'm gonna put anything a whole lot in these D and E systems just because there's like seven different ones here. There's not that many to put in here. 2009, well, they didn't have anything broken in the game as far as I remember. But that was the one where they overhauled the tag team system. They had like the 4 to 5 match, like career mode or whatever. They got rid of GM mode, which I remember a lot of people, myself included, were very salty about. The Road to WrestleMania was a lot of fun, but once you got through the Road to WrestleMania and you went through like the career mode, like the different branches, at least once, that was pretty much it. But I remember just enjoying it for what it was at the time. Like when this game got released back in I think late 2008, like I was only I think 12 at the time, so I just remember, just playing exhibition mode all the time and doing tag matches with my friends and all of that. So because it at least worked, I think it'll be like right around here. The reason why I put SVR above this game is because of the career mode, because the OG original SmackDown vs. Raw game, the career mode was a lot of fun and it was quite enjoyable. And they had voiceovers too, which was kind of a first for the series in a lot of WWE games, I believe. Let's see here. 2008. That one was pretty fun. It was long, but it was fun at the same time. This one was like kind of a mixed bag because I believe there was GM mode, there was 24/7 mode, there was some sort of other mode, I think, right? I just remember those two modes. Yeah, it was like 24/7 mode where that was like the season mode. I liked the cutscenes and I liked how you had a little bit of customization in there. Like you got to have your own schedule and stuff like that. Like you could go do movies. Granted, this was like rabbit hole type of situations. But I personally enjoy this game just as much. Again, the lack of features were kind of bad. Let me just take a look at this really quickly, just so that way I can get some context a little bit more. I feel like there was something other than like 24/7 mode and GM mode, and my brain is just not like thinking straight. But yeah, let's see here. We had, oh, the different fighting styles. Oh, that was weird. And the submissions, oh, that was, ooh, that was weird. Okay. So there was 24/7 mode. So the seasons, yeah, season mode and GM mode kind of mixed and melded together almost, which was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, there was the new tournament mode. Oh my God, I forgot about that. So yeah, like it wasn't the worst game ever. They had voiceovers, the cutscenes were kind of fun. Some of them got repetitive, but I don't know. I just enjoyed this game. Like it wasn't fantastic by any means, but it was still better than these two games right here, the original SmackDown vs. Raw in '09, because you could do a lot of stuff in there and you could kind of keep it fresh a little bit more. At least that was how it felt like to me. So for this one, and plus I played the crap out of it when it first came out in general. I remember when you actually, I don't remember if it was in a pre-order. It might have been in a pre-order. Like there was this DVD that came with it, and it came with the game. Where you got like, here's some tips and tricks on like the different fighting styles if you pre-order the game. I think that was like a pre-order bonus if I remember correctly. But yeah, that was a good year. Just in general, I just genuinely I had fun with it, and everything worked as far as I remember. The fighting styles got a little limiting and got kind of annoying, which probably why my some people might put this more in the C tier. But I enjoyed it for what it was, and I think that's what matters. Let's see here. Oh, 12. Oh my God, I remember that one for Road to WrestleMania. Oh my God, that was the year where I think Austin Aries did a voiceover. I think that was Universe mode as well. But outside of that, like, wasn't a whole lot going on because that was right before Showcase started, if I remember correctly. Because that was the last year of Road to WrestleMania. They had the whole multi-part arc for that one, and I enjoyed the crap out of it. So you got to play as like Sheamus as like the villain, which I thought was so much fun. And then I remember the Triple H arc, where it was like the anti-hero type of scenario. And then you finished out with your creator wrestler with Jacob Cass, which was voiced by Austin Aries. But other than that, other than universe mode, there wasn't a whole lot to the game. So I'm gonna put this one in C, mainly, but I'm gonna put it above SVR, just because of the fact that, well, the Road to WrestleMania itself was just so much fun, but there was very little replayability now that I look back at it with fresh eyes. Let's see here. WWE 13. This one had universe mode, this one had showcase mode. Oh yeah, was this the year that they got rid of? Yeah, this was the year they got rid of Road to WrestleMania, which I remember being salty about. Again, the replayability factor was not too great, at least for me anyway. But I liked the Attitude Era feel to it. I liked the theme of it. And not to mention the cover is really cool. The cover for 12 was really cool too. But I liked 13's marginally better than. Oh, I don't know. This is tough because I kind of like 12 more than I did 13 because all they really did was swap out Road to WrestleMania for Universe mode, or not Universe mode, but for Showcase mode. For me, Showcase mode is one of my least favorite modes in the video game because like you play it once and you're done. So I think if we're thinking in terms of like, I feel like it's going to change quite a bit. So we'll put them on the same level for that reason there. But I'm going to go ahead and put 12 over 13 for now because for me, I don't have the nostalgia factor of the Attitude Era kind of weighing on me. And not to mention, that took me ages to complete, unless if I was just that dumb at video games at the time. But I liked the Attitude Era concept of it. I liked how we had a lot of new characters, which was refreshing. But it was like showcase mode, you're done with it, and you're done. Now, 2K14, I didn't spend a whole lot of time with it because I was, basically on the way to going away to college at the time and I didn't have a lot of time to play it. But 2K14 definitely step up in the right direction. I genuinely liked this showcase quite a bit. I didn't get a chance to really play with it, but they added some new modes. That was when they were starting to splinter. No, that wasn't until the next game. But 2K14 was a lot of fun for what it was. It had the beat the streak mode, which I know was a big deal for a lot of people. The roster was pretty stacked, and I just enjoyed it. So yeah, that one's gonna go in the B column. 2K15. Oh God. Oh well, the game was playable. Universe mode was very detailed. Like it came with a bunch of different things. This was when they started to do one type of game for Xbox 360, the other one for Xbox One, and so 2K15 was really weird because of that. And also I think 16 and 17 if I remember correctly. But 2K15, I know in the Xbox 360 version they had the NXT showcase mode thing. I think it was like I don't remember what it was called offhand, but it was like a big NXT showcase type of thing. But on the other hand, I don't think they had what they didn't get like showcase mode or something. I don't remember. But showcase mode was fun, a little frustrating at times, but it was fun for what it was worth. But in general, oh my god, my career was so bad, but I still put it above 2K18 because at least the my career mode was playable. And it was all right. I would probably rank this one marginally above 2K19, mainly because no, we're putting it right there. Was it better than 2K19? That all depends on your perspective. For me, once I get done with showcase mode, I don't really find much replayability factor into it. I like the detailedness within universe mode, but other than universe mode, I didn't really find a reason to go back and play it. Like I uninstalled it from my Xbox. If you want to see my career and watch me suffer through it for another 17 hours, then let's go for it. But for now, we're going to put it in E because unlike 2K18, it is at least playable. And the My Career mode works. So, again, the showcases were cool. I enjoy them, but again, showcase, it's very much like you play once and you're done. And at least with 2K19, we had like I think six different options. They also had a co-op sort of style with the tag team edition, which I thought was really cool as well. And they just had like a lot of different stories, which I enjoyed. The Chris Jericho one was probably my favorite of the six, or the five or six, something like that. 2K16, this one was a good game in general. Was it as good as 2K14? No, but it was the best improvement, or at least one of the better improvements between games, because in comparison to 2K15, this thing was great for what it was worth, and so I enjoyed it for what it was. I still fired up every now and then. The soundtrack was great. Yeah, but it was alright. The My Career mode still had a lot of things going on for it, but that was the Stone Cold Showcase, and that one, it was really well done. So I'm going to put it in the C column for right now just because of the showcase mode being really good. And again, the problem with this is that like there's like showcase mode, there's universe mode, there's the my career mode. There's a lot of different modes in this game, which, yeah, I'll bump it up a little bit. Yeah, there's a bunch of different modes in this game, which is probably why I put it on like the same level as like 2K14 and 2K, or not 2K, but SVR 2008. 17 just felt very much like a filler year. I don't know why. Like, there wasn't really much to go off of because they got rid of showcase mode, except they put it in DLC, I think. There wasn't really a whole lot to talk about with this one. So we're gonna put this one at 2K15 because, like, again, at least I think my career might have worked. Again, I never actually got through it just because I'm a universe mode type of girl. Now, 2K19, this one was a fun one. If we're talking about major improvements between games, at least 2K19, the My Career mode was a lot of fun. You introduced towers, universe mode got like a little bit of, fine tuning to it. It was a smooth game. I enjoyed the crap out of it. So for kind of ranking it, I would probably say 2K19's got to be up there for me anyway. Um, yeah, I'd say it's up there because I just had a lot of fun with 2K19, and I remember just pulling a bunch of all-nighters when I probably shouldn't have been pulling all-nighters just playing the game. Just in general, the one thing that it doesn't have that like these two or three have, actually the showcase mode was very short. Um, but it introduced a lot. Oh my god, it was like a 9-day difference compared to 2K18. So we're gonna put this in A just because it's my personal preference. I still see people going back to it instead of 2K20, which I think says a lot about how good the game was. And not to mention AJ Styles on the cover. It's just a really cool thing. Just given that he's a huge gamer and all that. So I really like the cover. Legends of WrestleMania. I remember just enjoying the crap out of this game. And so I think just for enjoying the crap out of this game, I'd probably put this at either B or C. Um, Legends of WrestleMania. Oh god, okay. We're gonna have to skip that one because I need to refresh. The Raw games I never got a chance to play through, so I'll have to refresh on that. 2007. Oh god, this one's going up there. This one's going up there. The season mode was fun, GM mode was fun. It was just such a fun game. I don't know how else to describe it. And this was really my first or second wrestling game that I remember playing, so it has that kind of nostalgia value for me, but the roster was pretty decent at the time too. And it was just a lot of fun. It was really just weird and wacky at times in the season mode, but it was a lot of fun, and I just remember enjoying the crap out of it. All right, SVR 2011, we'll backtrack on that one. WrestleMania 19, I think that was the one where it had the really weird season mode, so we'll go back to that one in just a bit. Here Comes the Pain. This one to me, like, because I remember playing it so much, I'll put it above No Mercy, but that's just because I never got to play No Mercy growing up or anything like that. Again, I was born in 96, so again, there's probably copies somewhere on the internet, like the modding community is alive and well still for that game. Shut Your Mouth arguably had probably my favorite season mode out of all the season modes, or at least in terms it was up there. You got to customize things. It was free ranging and roaming, and it was a lot of fun. That was like its main feature, so it didn't have like a ton of features to it, like 2K19 or 2K or not 2K SVR 2007. But the season mode was by far the best with Shut Your Mouth, in my opinion. It was detailed, it was deep, and I just enjoyed it. So, I mean, we're gonna put this in the A rank. And like, I spent so many nights just playing season mode and like it never got stale, which I appreciated. So maybe for that alone, we might move it up a little bit. Probably somewhere in here. It's got to be like before 7. No. No, we're not going to move them. We're not going to move them around too much. Just Bring It. I remember the 3-match season mode, and that was literally it. And you had to go through it like 10,000 times to unlock everything. For that reason, and I'm sure people are going to throw tomatoes at me. F. I'm sorry, not sorry. Like, the roster was good and everything, but, like, you only had exhibition mode, and, like, you had to play, like, a 3-match season mode. I can't really rank that anything above F. Same thing with this SVR game. Some of the old, like, some of the more, like, transitional ones into the WWE games I have to kind of refresh. WWE WrestleMania 21, I need to refresh that one. Oh, okay, this one's SmackDown 1. Well, didn't get a chance to play that one growing up. Same thing with 2, 18. Oh, 2006. Oh, God. This one's out of the SVR games, this one is by far my favorite. The general manager mode alone was so worth it. It was just so much fun. The general manager mode to me was the best part of it. But the roster was fun. I remember playing exhibition mode a bunch of times. The storylines in the season mode were great and just a lot of fun. And I just remember it being just a lot of fun. That was also where you, if you had a PSP and you had the game for PSP, you could like import and export characters, or at least you got Jake the Snake Roberts. All Stars was just a fun game in general. You had the different pathways, if I remember correctly. I think they were like a tag team one, and you had to like win 10 matches or something like that. But it was very arcadey, which was definitely very fresh and just reinvigorating. And the replay value was like not too bad. You could pick up and play it. Other than like the tiers, I don't, or like the different story options. Like I think, oh, the Path of Champions, that's what it's called. I think, or was that in Legends of WrestleMania? Yeah, the Path of Champions, Fantasy Warfare. Yeah, I remember this one. This one was a lot of fun, if I remember correctly. Um, yeah, Path of Champions, Fantasy Warfare. We'll put this one at B, just because it was a lot of fun. It was very arcadey and just very just wacky at times with the animations, and I kind of enjoyed the crap out of that. So here we go to the point in the video where I have to start looking up each and every one of these games because it's like I remember some of the story modes and stuff, but I don't remember the entire game. You know what I mean? Some of them I never played before, such as the two SmackDown games. I know I'm a terrible person for admitting that on screen, but we're gonna figure this out. Let's figure this out. All right, so we're gonna kind of combine the Day of Reckoning games a little bit because basically it's a two-game story arc where you're kind of following a rookie and you kind of go through the motions and stuff. And then in the sequel, it's kind of like, well, you won the title, and assuming you went to Raw, like all kinds of stuff happens. There was a bit of an overhaul with the submission system in two, which I guess threw a lot of people off. But I enjoyed both of them equally growing up. My friends and I, we would just have sleepovers and just create wrestlers left and right. So, like, the story mode was kind of an afterthought almost for me, but it's kind of cool now that I've been like able to go back and kind of watch other YouTube channels and sort of see the story mode because I remember watching both of the story modes online. Like, I enjoyed the story modes for what they were. So I think this is a middle of the road one as well. Just both of them are going to go into C because they were like, they were all right. Not a lot to it. Uh, but the control schemes I remember being so complicated. Unless if that was just me being dumb back then. I don't know. But yeah, we'll go into the Raw games next since we're kind of going in that direction anyway. So we'll kind of do a little bit of a digging on that on those two games. All right, so the Day of Reckoning games, they were GameCube exclusives, if I remember correctly, which sounds about right. So way back when I was starting out in my wrestling and also coincidentally my video game fandom almost, that was around the mid 2000s, so that was when Xbox, PlayStation 2, like the original Xbox before the 360 came out a little bit later. So we had the GameCube, and then there was also the Xbox, like the original Xbox, and then there was also the PlayStation 2. So like that was the whole like triangle triple threat feud going on there. So at that point in the mid 2000s, WWE, they were coming out with all these like just different games for the different platforms, which was kind of interesting now that you kind of think about it in retrospect. Like it kind of makes you wonder like what that would look like if that actually happened today. But anyway, I did some digging on Raw and Raw 2. Those were the Xbox, like original Xbox exclusives, right around 2002, 2003, which was kind of why Raw 1 was originally branded as WWF and then it got renamed to WWE. It was like right around the time that the trademark thing or the name change happened, I should say. Raw 1 did not have a season mode, which means it is going to F, but because of the improvements made that I was able to kind of look up, we're going to put Raw 2. At least it had a season mode in there, so. Raw 2, I swear to God I'm being so harsh, but Raw 2 probably is not going to get much higher than that. I mean, it was a massive upgrade from Raw 1 by far. So I think in terms of just like the general things that were going on, like at least the game was relatively playable. Um, we'll put this one at a D. I think that's fair. So we're going to do some more digging into the other games as we kind of go into this. But if I swear to God, I remember Legends of WrestleMania. I just like I'm trying to remember what the season mode was or whatever. You know what I mean? All right, let's see what we got here. Legends of WrestleMania. Wasn't there like a very similar game called that for like the GameCube, like in the early 2000s or something? I remember there was like some sort of a Legends game, and I think there were like three games in the series. There was a ton of wrestling games in the early to mid like 2000s. But yeah, this one I remember just being very ridiculous. Oh yeah, all the graphics were kind of cool. I remember that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the managers were kind of cool too. Oh, this was the one where you could import the characters from 2009, or at least some of them, or most of them, I should say. There's the WrestleMania tour. Oh yeah, relive, rewrite, and redefine. Okay, I remember this one. Yeah, it was kind of fun. I remember this one now. Okay, got it. All right, so I think we're gonna go ahead and just maybe place this one right up here. Yeah, let's place this one right up here. Because I think it's in the ballpark with All Stars as well, because it was just a really fun game. I don't know how else to describe it. But what they did well with, I think, and it was just a very different gaming experience as opposed to the traditional simulation style that we got used to, and I certainly appreciate that in retrospect. So we're going to kind of go ahead and try to tackle these WrestleManias next, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm just kind of rearranging things to where we're going to go sort of in order almost. Actually, I think let's go with the SmackDown games next. So give me a second, we'll do some digging. Alright, so my very foundational knowledge of these two games both came out on the original PlayStation. SmackDown 2 generally got a favorable, much more favorable reception. Actually, no, both games were received pretty well. But SmackDown 2, from what it looks like, had a lot more improvements within the season mode, and it's still like considered to be, if I remember reading it right, give me a second here. It says that it was like the best-selling something. Yeah, it was the best-selling combat sports game on a single format with 3.2 million copies sold. They expanded significantly on the season mode, the creator wrestler stuff. So I think in terms of just the impact of it, like I'll put it up right around here. And then just because of the like, kind of seeing where like it was with one, we'll put it at B just because of the significance of it, I think. Just because again, you got to think about the context and kind of like the lasting impact that these games have had, just in general. And again, these are in no order; these are just my personal preferences. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, let's see what we got here. All right, so next up on this tier list, we have WrestleManias 18, 19, and 21, the video games. So after doing some digging and kind of like just trying to refresh my brain on these games, I remember playing 21 a few times and I just could not get the hang of the controls. I don't think there were any season modes or anything that was like distinguishable. So I guess the controls were built from the ground up, sort of similar, somewhat similarly to how we had the whole issues going on with 2K20 this year, in terms of the controls, except probably a lot worse and much more complicated. So for that reason alone, like if you can't play your game, then like it's going in F. For 18, they had some sort of a Path of Champions mode, sort of similarly to Just Bring It, but I don't think there was anything much more else other than that. But I guess it was at least playable. I don't remember playing this game, but because it was playable, that's why it's going into E. And then WrestleMania 19 is a very weird game to rank because they had this revenge mode which it was a whole weird storyline, and oh my god, it was so weird. I don't know how else to really describe it other than it being so weird, but I enjoyed the crap out of it at the time. But yeah, I'm kind of looking at the notes here. Basically, you and Stephanie are trying to get revenge on Vince because you got fired. And so you basically have to go through all these different combat people and security people, and it's like a whole huge construction thing, and it's really, really weird. It's really funny. I don't know if we actually ever finished it, but I remember just enjoying the crap out of it, just in general. But that one was a lot of fun. I remember that one. Just being a lot of fun. So I think for the revenge mode and just for doing something different, we're gonna have to just plop that one into C, I think. Maybe, yeah, C, D. We'll put it in D, I think. I feel like I'm being very harsh, but I have no shame. But other than revenge mode, I really don't remember this at all. But the revenge mode was fun for what it was worth. Last but not least, SVR 2010 and 2011, two of the games I remember so vividly from middle school, high school. I was in 8th and ninth grade when those games came out. Pretty much, if you're talking about like night and day difference, you want to look at 2009 SVR to 2010 SVR. Because 2009 was very much like a skeleton, and then 2010 was just a labor of love, at least to me anyway. And so this one had, of course, it had a lot of new features. So the main concept or the main theme that they had going on was customization, which for me as somebody that likes to do a lot of just weird and wacky customization stuff in my spare time at like 2 in the morning when I can't sleep. Like at the time, I think I was what, like, let me think. That was 2009. I was about 13 at the time. So I mean, like, I was at that age where, like, creativity in video games, like, ooh, cool, sign me up. Awesome. Yeah, 2009 was a really crazy year for games in general, if I remember correctly. But there was like the tires with the superstar threads. That's what they call them. Now we just call it alternative tires. It was pretty much with paint tools, so custom logos were starting to get in. They were introduced here, if I remember correctly. There was the training facility, which I thought was really funny. Oh, the championship scramble match. I was actually at that pay-per-view at Unforgiven 2008. That was actually my first wrestling pay-per-view that I went to. And like as an audience member, it was kind of like a mixed bag. Like, oh, okay, we know it's only going to last 20 minutes. Like, okay. It also featured mixed tag team matches. There was also the DS version which included the ambulance match. Basically, there was a lot of just everything that happened. But I remember, I think, getting the DS version of this too, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if it was 2010 or 2011. I'll have to refresh on that. But I enjoy the crap out of it. I remember, yeah, this one was like on every console. It was kind of ridiculous. This one had like 6 Road to WrestleMania stories. They introduced the story designer mode, which we still want back in a lot of cases, which you know what I'm a proponent for. I played that mode so much, like when it first came out. Like it was just so much fun. And I remember getting like the keyboard as like I think a Christmas gift, or I used my allowance money to save up just to get a keyboard for my Xbox. And yeah, it was a whole thing. And then let's see here. Yeah, it was a whole thing. And then yeah, it was just a whole revamp. Like, if you're thinking night and day difference, like, look no further than 2009 to 2010. So, for that reason alone and just how much fun it was, we're gonna go ahead and put this one. Well, this one didn't have story designer. Okay, but this one had GM mode to a certain degree. And you can kind of customize your season mode a little bit. So, we'll put that one right there for now because of just the significance in terms of the. I don't know, we'll put it right there. In terms of just the amount of updates and upgrades, like, y'all, that one was crazy, to say the least. There was so much more that got to it, and it was just ridiculous. Also, 2009 introduced Creative Finisher, which was great, but no, this one was just incredibly just. It was stacked. It was seriously really stacked. Let's see here. And then 2011, some might say was a bit of a step down, and others say it's a step up. We're kind of looking at both of them right now. But they kind of fine-tuned a lot of the physics with like the tables, like TLC matches. You could throw chairs at your opponent, Hell in a Cell matches. You could roam around the backstage areas in primarily, oh God, which one was it? Road to WrestleMania. The Road to WrestleManias were fun as well. The universe mode was introduced in this game, so I think for that alone that was super important. The Road to WrestleManias were a ton of fun as well. There were new updates to creative stuff as well. This one also had exclusively, I think, just superstar entrance musics. If I remember correctly, they definitely downsized the roster quite a bit. But because it included universe mode, I'm not going to rank it above like 2010. But because of the fact that it did include universe mode for the first time, it should still be up there, I think. In terms of our showcase modes, 2014 and 2016 were arguably the best, but because of the fact that universe mode got introduced, it needs to be ranked up a little bit higher, I think, because people wanted something that was kind of reminiscent of GM mode. But universe mode, like my series is like a bunch of episodes deep. I think we're at 10 now. That sounds about right. Plus a couple pay-per-views and a draft. People still put together universe mode series like almost 10 years later. And so that's why I think just if you're talking about, games that stand the test of time, like this was a mode that just it's still in the game. Like we need it overhauled, yes, but it needs to be up there in the B category. Yeah, yeah, B category just because of that. It definitely is on the same level as 2010 by far. Like, you can't talk about one without talking about the other almost, just because they're so related to each other. I marginally put 2010 over 2011 just because of the road to WrestleManias, but I mean, in general, we got universe mode out of this one. So I think for that, I'll move that up. But that's just me personally. Like, universe mode to me is just like what I play in my spare time, and I just enjoy the crap out of that mode just as much as anybody else does. But yeah, this is kind of my definitive list. Again, this is in no particular ranking other than the letters on the side. So my top three games are gonna have to go to Here Comes the Pain, No Mercy, SVR 2006. Then you had 2K19, SVR 2007, Shut Your Mouth, and then you had SmackDown 2. Again, Shut Your Mouth, SmackDown 2, best season modes. If you're talking about a night and day difference between video games, we're going to have to go with 2K19. And then just 2007 was just a really solid game altogether. The season mode was fantastic. It included GM mode. Like, what else could you really want back then? Then we have SVR 2008. We have 2011. We have 2010. 2K14, 2K16, All Stars, Legends of WrestleMania, and then SmackDown 1. Then on C, we have WWE 12, 13, original SVR, Day of Reckonings 1 and 2. D, we have SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, WrestleMania 19. I was going to try to rank it a little bit more above, but I liked how Day of Reckoning story modes went. I liked the direction. I liked how they were connected. And then pretty much at least I enjoyed one of the modes in both of these columns. But this column had less replayability. C had more replayability. B had just a very solid game altogether where it was just fun to play. And just thinking about like where it was, previous games and all that. A's are kind of the ones that are like they have something distinguishable about them, but for the best possible in the best possible way. And then S is kind of like just the best for different reasons. And just like the historical context too, or the cultural context, depending on how you see it. B, we have SVR 2009, WrestleMania 19, Raw 2. We have an E, 2K15, 2K17, and WrestleMania 18. And then for F, we have 2K18, Just Bring It, Original Raw, and then WrestleMania 21. So that is my tier list. Feel free to throw some tomatoes or garbage at me for this list. This is kind of a hill I will die on type of tier. I hope you all have enjoyed this. I'm going to try my best to get this out hopefully on Saturday. And if not, this will come out on Sunday. So I hope you all have enjoyed this one. I enjoy the crap going down memory lane for a lot of these games. And I hope you all have enjoyed this video. And again, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to all that fun stuff. Please stay safe, please stay healthy, and just stay healthy at home. That's kind of the motto that we're going around over here. And I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.